Today is going to be one special video. I'm going to talk about my own emergency room experience in Los Angeles. I'm going to tell you guys how much the hospital charged me, and I'm going to also compare, just very briefly, the healthcare system between the United States and China. This is my first video update in about a month because I ran into some health problems after I came back from Japan early last month. I experienced intensive abdominal pain. Most of the time, it happens at night before or after I went to bed. The pain was very intensive and it usually lasts about 4 to 6 hours. And it happens every other day, continuously for 3 weeks. One night, it got so bad that my wife rushed me to the local hospital in Los Angeles, here where I live. And I stayed in the ER for about 5 hours. Okay, here's the bill. I'm going to cover the cost up first and tell you what went on that evening, okay? So I arrived in the ER around 10 p.m. I stayed there for about 5 hours. During that 5 hours, I spent most of the time, I would say around 3 hours in the waiting room outside, not inside the ER, okay, outside in the public space. So I'm only inside the ER for about 2 hours. And during that 2 hours, as you can see here, they gave me one IV injection of painkiller. They ran some examinations, including blood tests, CT scan, ECG, and chest X ray. And after my pain subsided, they asked me to wait in the waiting room again for the test result and to make sure I don't have internal bleeding or some other life-threatening issues. And they checked me out afterward. Okay, without further ado, here's how much it cost me. Okay, take a look. Yes, $16,606. All right. I swear to God, this is my own medical bill. Okay. Look at the summary of the charges: 7,000 roughly for the CT scan, 4,000 for just being inside the ER room for around 2 hours, and other small charges, different examinations. So $16,000 for a 2 minute CT scan, a bag of painkiller, and some minor examinations. After that night in the ER, I went and visited my family doctor. I want to get to the bottom of this because it could indicate a more severe health problems. The pain keep coming back every other day. So in order to get to the bottom of this, I need to run a lot of examinations. The healthcare system here in the United States goes like this. For a lot of my American audience who are, I believe, very familiar with this already. You go visit your family doctor. He or she will run some basic examinations. They didn't need to do this in this case because the hospital ER test already gave them some basic results. Then he will, your doctor will refer you to go and see a specialized doctor. This could be a wide range of problems: stomach, small intestine, large intestine, kidney stones, maybe liver problems. According to the CT scan, I have some huge bubbles on my liver. And also it could be pancreas or gallbladders. The problem here in the United States is that these doctors all run their own office in different locations. And even if they're in the same location, and you have to make appointment, which some are more available than others. And when I try to make appointments, many of the doctors next available appointment date is 2 months away. And that's 2 months away just to see the doctor. And after seeing the doctor, he will conduct, more examination on you to narrow down the problems, which those examinations will require more appointments and more waiting. It's very difficult to take shortcut because many of those examinations cannot go through insurance unless the specialized doctor make the request, right? And some of the examinations require the doctor to conduct by themselves, like the one I did is putting, this camera on a tube through your stomach to see if there's problem inside. There's also this other examination where they put the camera from behind, and so those examination require more scheduling and appointment. According to my calculation, after making all those appointments, it will be Thanksgiving, if not Christmas, before I find out what my problem is, and if I need surgery or not. And that's a huge problem because my situation might get worse. I might have to seek emergency healthcare again. I often couldn't sleep at night because of the pain affect my daily routine, and I have to start traveling across the United States pretty soon for business. So this is very annoying. So I decided to travel back to China. I used to work in the medical sector, by the way, so I know what I'm doing. I visited a local hospital here in Wuhan, okay, the day after I arrived. It is not even a top tier hospital. There are hundreds of hospitals here in China I will rate above this one that I visit, but it's convenient. It's nearby where I lived, and they have some very experienced doctors as well. And here's a quick summary of what happened to me. And you need to compare this to the United States and also to Europe. Okay, I've been to some European hospitals. I went to this hospital the day after I arrived in Wuhan. Uh, the Chinese hospital, they work like, I'll say, they work like factories, an assembly line. Okay, the first day I completed something like 10 examinations, including CT scan. The second day, more in-depth testing, including advanced MRI. Here's the detailed bill that the hospital sent me. I mean, take a look, okay? Oh god. Okay, this is like something like 15 pages long. All right. I'll get to this in a bit. On the third day, they put me through the camera thing, which a camera attached to a tube, go through my stomach and also my intestine to see if there's, cancer or something else more severe. So all the diagnostics were completed within the first 72 hours. Now, the doctors confirmed that the pain is caused by a gallstone blocking a tube that goes into my small intestine, which also there's severe gallbladder inflammation, and it needs to be removed. The surgery was scheduled on the fifth day, and I stayed in the hospital for 2 extra days in an ICU. I didn't need to stay in the ICU, by the way. It is not necessary. But the hospital have extra space inside, and I don't mind paying a little bit extra. They basically have slightly better a room with a nurse sitting right outside of your door, looking after four patient, just four patient, 24/7. For people who had this kind of surgery, it is difficult to get in and out of bed for at least 3 to 4 days, and I have tubes attached to me, so the nurse is very helpful. I checked out of the hospital on the seventh day. Right now, I'm just recovering at home. It's 2 weeks ago, basically, and I will be on a flight back to Los Angeles this weekend. And now I will show you the medical bill that the Chinese hospital sent me. Okay, I will show to you guys a picture here. It comes up to 27,558, and that's in renminbi. By today's exchange rate, that is roughly 3,800 US dollar. The big ticket item here, okay? Hospital stay, ICU stay, two surgeries. The camera thing is considered minor surgery, and also removal of the gallbladder. That's a surgery. CT, MRI, ultrasound, X-ray, blah 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 blah. And this is all out of pocket cost because I have no insurance here in China. I'm not even a Chinese citizen. I'm a Hong Kong citizen. If I'm a Chinese citizen with insurance, like all the workers here have medical insurance, the process will cost only around, I would say, 30% of what I spent. So around $1,500 US for all of that. Okay. All right. Listen to this. Just so happened, my insurance company in the United States contacted my wife and gave her an updated bill of my ER visit. The out of pocket money I will be paying for my 2 hour ER visit in Los Angeles will be exactly the same amount, 3,800 US dollar. So so let me summarize, okay? My ER visit, my 2 hour emergency room visit in the United States, in Los Angeles, with just a CT scan and painkiller, and after insurance, it cost me $3,800. My week-long stay in hospital, examination, surgery, the entire cost here in China, with no insurance, is also $3,800. I bet if my gallbladder, ruptured that evening in the emergency room in Los Angeles, the bill before insurance is probably going to be in six digits. It will take me many, many episodes to go into the details in comparing healthcare system between the United States and China. And I also been to quite a few hospitals in Europe as well. Um, but let me address some common misunderstanding, and I will try to be as unbiased as possible. There's also, I'll say, grand, geopolitical implications at the end of this video. When it comes to hardware, okay, quality, technology, Chinese hospital is on par with US hospital. I sell medical equipments to hospital, by the way, so I know that. But this limit only to first and second tier, maybe third tier cities in China, which roughly serves around 300 to 400 million people. I will go as far as to say that many first tier city hospital is they're surpassing the United States in terms of technology utilization, logistic, and information space. This is due to high volume of patients in China, which pushes hospital to be more, I will say, innovative when it comes to providing services. Many of these hospitals can afford to purchase the best and most expensive equipment in the world, the most advanced. And they can pay a premium for those equipments because these hospitals are set up to fully utilize these equipments. The usage rate of these equipments will be 5 times, 10 times more than in the United States, which by math, the cost of the equipment can be more evenly spread out onto each patient, leading to lower cost per patient usage. Pause the video if you have problem understanding what that means. Second, the doctors here are as skillful and as experienced as the doctors in the United States, and I would argue that they might even be more skillful than the doctors in US, given how many patients they have to go through each day. That's not exactly a good thing, because Chinese doctors and they're often overworked and can lead to exhaustion. That is something I believe the system need to catch up. This is also where the innovations comes in. For example, the camera check of my stomach. I don't know how to pronounce the professional word here. It was done in a specialized designed sector of the hospital, in which there are 10 operation rooms running simultaneously throughout the day, 12 hours, with doctors rotating throughout the day as well. And they can conduct dozens of examination every hour. That's hundreds of tests done per day. This is something that is basically impossible to achieve in the United States today. I know I have audience here in the healthcare sector. They know what I'm talking about. The US hospital are just not set up to process that way, okay? Third, let me show you the Chinese hospital bill here, okay? Just a snapshot, okay? I'll put it on the screen here. You see, there's the item name on the left side with, and I'm not kidding, the company, the factory name of where it was manufactured and produced. Along here with the unit that has been used by the staff of the hospital on me, the unit price and the total price. And this bill, as you can see, is 15 pages long, going into every single details. Okay, every piece of hospital cotton used on me is priced over there. Some only costs 20 cents US dollar. I'm challenging any healthcare system in the entire world that has this kind of recording and transparency. This has a lot of benefits. It helps to prevent corruption in the medical and drug use in the hospital. Because all the price is transparent, you can't overcharge patient, right? Patient can tell exactly how that cost is generated. The process is transparent. So here, as you can see, I've been put to anesthesia for 2 hours. The cost, the laser cutter that been used to remove my internal, organ tissues for examination, the dosage of every drug that was used on me, they're all recorded, all the pricing. Okay, you know what this is? This help. Let me put it in a way that is accurate here. This is the instrument that the Chinese government, the government of China, gave to the people to check and balance against corporation, against monopoly, against the government itself, because this is a public hospital, not a private hospital. And all the cost that comes with it, right? I believe, some of my American audience would like to know, how their bill was so high, what are the costs and detailed charges. It is good, right, for us to know why the hospital in the United States charges so much. Ultimately, I think what is going on here is that China's healthcare system is advancing in an incredible pace and down a path that is completely unique versus Western healthcare system. It is trying to maximize both quality of the service, optimization of junction and wait time, but also try to keep it at a reasonable budget cost. In the United States, yes, I would say that in many scenarios, the quality of the healthcare service is still better. But that's not going to help much if you can't even see the doctor for months, and every diagnostic and treatment requires months and months. U.S. healthcare measures in months and China in days is basically what we are comparing here. This is a very difficult problem for US to solve because the core of the US healthcare system infrastructure is too outdated and too inefficient for today. You have to revolutionize the entire ecosystem, which is a challenge given there are powerful entities and lobbyists making their livings out of this current ineffective and expensive system. And when it comes to cost, we have to think macro here, okay? Yes, I have insurance that lower the cost by a lot in the United States, but you have to ask, who's paying for that cost at the end? Somebody has to pay for it, right? The bill will be split among individuals, insurance, and government. And all those costs will eventually reflect in the overall competitiveness of your industry because healthcare costs will be embedded in your export, now, whether it is manufacturing or service. So going back to the geopolitics, and you see today, the Trump administration is trying to balance the trade with the rest of the world, right? And how Trump is forcing everyone to the negotiation table to buy more American products, goods, and services. What I have shown you here is also when countries are forced to, let's say, buy more US products, they are also in the same way forced to pay a premium for the inefficient US healthcare system price that is embedded in the stuff that US sells. It doesn't matter if it's a physical product or service. So when Americans talk about, reindustrialize United States, it's not just about putting up tariffs and building factories. There's a lot of details, things that you need to fix and work out to make the entire system more smooth, which I will get into in a future video. Well, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.